We haven't done a whole lot with responsive design yet. And this week we are getting into the CSS box model. And we are going to be covering a responsive design called Flexbox. After we cover Flexbox later in the course, you're going to be learning a couple additional responsive designs, but that won't be until lesson 11. So for this week, we are doing Flexbox. It's easier to learn these designs if I don't do them all at the same time. Then they could be very confusing. So for Flexbox, uh, you're going to read the pages in the book, and then we're going to go through the CSS box model lecture demo. So we start with what the heck are boxes, and then we explain how this box model works. And there's a traditional way of laying out your pages that is not as responsive, and then there is the Flexbox method. So you're going to actually learn both. So there's lots and lots of examples. There's links to examples here. And as you go through here, we will be talking about mainly CSS because setting up the box model, a lot of it is the CSS that you add uh, into the tags themselves or into your style sheets. So there's a lot of showing you code here and then showing you what it looks like on the page. And then we're going to talk about relative versus absolute positioning. And if you use absolute positioning, stacking order is important. Because if you're using the box model, you can actually layer content on top of each other. Okay, and stacking order affects what shows up on the top and what shows up on the bottom. Then we get into Flexbox, which is responsive. So how do you use Flexbox? Flexbox is actually not difficult if you just use the basic CSS. But if you want to tweak and make changes, there are a lot of different CSS styles that you can apply. And I think that's where people get a little bit more confused with it. So I've tried to include lots and lots of examples and pictures and links to interactive examples to help you with this. Then we have our textbook assignment. And there's a couple files that you're going to be working with, a farm file and a song snippet file. So you're going to download the files and the graphics that go with it. And with your song snippet file, I am giving you some CSS as well. And then you are going to be manipulating the files to create the different types of boxes. So you will be doing a traditional box, and you will be doing a flex box. And you'll notice that we do save these under different names to keep them separate. Okay, you will be doing a page with absolute positioning. So you'll see how that works, and you'll notice that we saved that under a different name as well. So you'll work through this, and by the time you're done, you'll have a pretty good idea about, how traditional is different than Flexbox and how that is different than absolute positioning. Then for your lab assignment, you are going to be creating a traditional box model page, and you're going to do a Flexbox model page. The content in your pages can be the same. If you would like to use listing 4.2 in the book as a model, you can. Okay, so you can kind of use that as a model. And the content in the page can be whatever you want. If you want to use this as a model or kind of a skeleton for your page, you can. I have an example of a traditional box model page. Okay, and you can kind of see how that looks if I resize it. And here's the traditional CSS that I used. And then I took that same content and I converted it over into a Flex page or Flexbox page. So this kind of shows you what I did with the CSS. And here's my Flexbox page. And the thing with the Flexbox is it's going to change the size of the boxes. That is what Flexbox does to get everything to fit. And it moves things around. Okay, and then there's my CSS that I used. And then you're just going to update your assignment page and transfer everything. So again, the content in the pages can be whatever you want. Okay, it does not have to, I don't expect it to be the same as mine, so don't use my content. Use your own and try to have fun with it. Do something you are interested in. Now, after doing this, if you feel like you're a little fuzzy on Flexbox, I have resources for you. So these are different pages. A lot of people like Flexbox Froggy because it's a game, but playing the game does help you get familiar with Flexbox CSS. So these are all really good resources for you to kind of investigate and play with if you would like to learn more.